Welcome to the deep dive. So, today we're doing something a little different.
Yeah.
Instead of, dense articles or research papers, the source material you've provided for this deep dive is, well, it's this fascinating collection of fragmented dialogue.
It is, isn't it?
It's almost like eavesdropping on a conversation. Really intimate,
Yeah.
raw, emotional.
It's a really compelling window, I think, into the raw mechanics of human connection. And, well, ultimately, it's dissolution.
Right.
Our mission here sort of is to extract those powerful emotional nuggets, the universal insights that are woven into these exchanges.
Even though the context feels a bit like pieces of a puzzle.
Exactly. We don't have the whole story, but the pieces themselves say so much.
That's it. Pulling out those universal threads. What's amazing is how quickly you're drawn in.
Mm-hmm.
You really feel like you're right there, experiencing the highs and the painful lows.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack these profound questions about love, memory, and all those unspoken words that often define our most intense relationships.
It's quite a journey.
Get ready for an emotional one because this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So let's maybe start by diving straight into that weight of unspoken words and those agonizing silences.
Yeah, that jumps out right away.
In these fragments, silence isn't just, an absence of sound. It's this palpable presence. Sometimes it seems more impactful than any shouted words.
Well, what's striking immediately is that contrast. You have the question, why are you silent?
Right.
And then this internal, almost desperate counter, I'm not silent.
Ah, yes.
That just perfectly captures the internal struggle versus the external perception, doesn't it? How things can feel so different inside.
Totally. And the source then describes this feeling of a constricted throat.
Yes, an inability to utter sounds, even with all this internal turmoil going on.
You can almost feel that ache yourself. It's so visceral. Like the silence is physically stopping them.
Is.
Makes you wonder how often we feel that, even if we don't quite label it that way.
That's a great point. And it's not just the feeling of being constricted, but the impact it has on the interaction.
How so?
Well, we see the observation that her silence said more than any words possibly could.
Wow.
It's like the silence itself becomes this language, carrying so much meaning that maybe words would just dilute it.
Or get in the way.
Exactly. Then another character reflects, I said nothing, I just looked at her, and then my chest ached with an unfamiliar pain.
Oh, that's heavy.
And later, someone else says, I said something, but it was just sound, like empty noise. My words died before reaching her.
So the words don't even connect.
Right. It shows that silence isn't passive, it's active. It's a powerful communication tool, or sometimes this impenetrable barrier that words just can't break through.
It really highlights how complex communication is, beyond just the words we choose or don't choose.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that hold weight, memory. It's striking how deeply memory, especially around specific dates, grips these characters.
Oh, absolutely. It shapes their present pain, their decisions even.
It's almost like they're haunted by certain years.
Yes, that recurrence of 1814, 1816, 1826, the confusion and the emphasis is incredibly telling.
One character insists, right, 1814 was special.
While another just mutters 1816.
Yeah.
It really underscores how different people can hold on to completely different narratives of a shared past. Experiencing the same events, but remembering them or valuing them differently.
And then there's that incredibly powerful exchange. Why 1816? Do you remember everything then?
And the reply, just shattering, I remember everything.
Chilling. It really speaks to the burden of, perfect recall when maybe forgetting would be easier.
Or at least selective forgetting. And this theme also includes a character realizing they've been clinging to hope all this time.
Despite knowing deep down that loss is coming.
Exactly. And that yearning to go back to a specific moment, a specific year.
But you can't.
You can't. That's the stark, painful acknowledgement. Can something be undone? No. So it raises this really important question for us, for you listening. How do shared memories, even small details like a year, become these anchors or sometimes these unbearable burdens in a relationship?
Anchors or burdens, yeah. And how much are our present choices just attempts to, outrun the past or maybe recreate it?
And realizing that recreation is impossible.
Which leads us into the brutal honesty of love and loss in these fragments.
It really strips away the romanticized notions, doesn't it?
Completely. It reveals love's often contradictory, sometimes quite brutal nature.
Yeah.
We hear these direct declarations like, I will not return, delivered so firmly.
A pivotal, painful decision point.
But what's so striking is the immediate counterpoint,
The desperate plea, don't leave me.
followed instantly by the resolute, I am leaving.
It's a gut punch, isn't it? Just highlights the immense chasm between two people's desires at that critical moment.
And the conflicting emotions just keep coming. We hear, I love you.
Met with, don't say that.
Wow. Rejecting the very thing that's supposed to bind them. Maybe because the love itself has become the source of pain. Or it's just too complicated now.
Precisely. And the fragments offer these stark, almost cynical definitions. Love doesn't ask, it takes.
And it's like a drug. You want more and more.
Yeah, revealing this consuming, maybe addictive side of love, a far cry from the idealized version.
Definitely. And then even darker, a character declaring, I want you to hate me. I want you to despise me.
Which is just, wow, such a desperate, destructive impulse.
It really prompts you to reflect on the difficult truths, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About love's limits, its capacity for, well, destruction.
Which culminates in that painful acknowledgement you mentioned.
Sometimes love just isn't enough.
Yeah, a brutal truth.
And facing that truth
Yeah.
inevitably leads to the aftermath, doesn't it? The echoes of regret and this difficult, painful acceptance of brokenness.
We see that so clearly. The self-blame, this is a mistake.
And then that incredibly sharp counter. You are my mistake.
Ouch. The pain is just palpable there. Blame is so central to this dissolution.
It's followed by these contrasting states. I am not angry.
Versus, I am angry. So angry I could scream.
Right. That oscillation suggests how volatile and unresolved everything still feels, even as it's all falling apart.
Yeah, the feelings haven't just vanished. They're just churning.
The imagery is incredibly stark, too. That visual of the door closing.
Leaving an empty heart and that lingering pain even after the rain stopped.
It paints such a picture of like a hollowed out existence after the storm, after the conflict has passed.
The finality is just devastating. You get that poignant realization, we are two strangers now.
Two broken pieces.
And the ultimate declaration, I am leaving forever.
It just lays bare the profound impact of decisions made in those moments of crisis, leading to this state of, well, deep brokenness.
It really shows us that navigating the aftermath, it often requires this difficult, painful path towards acceptance maybe,
Right.
or healing, if that's even possible.
We've definitely journeyed through a truly raw and vulnerable landscape today, haven't we?
We really have.
It's just remarkable how much emotional truth can be conveyed just through these fragmented glimpses.
Indeed. And what's consistently fascinating, I think, is the universality of it all. These deeply personal struggles.
Yeah.
The push and pull of attachment, separation, the weight of memory, the paradox of love itself.
It all resonates, doesn't it?
Right.
Regardless of the specific, context or details we don't have.
Absolutely.
It really does. This deep dive, for me, has been a powerful reminder that our most profound connections, even when they unravel, they leave these indelible marks.
They absolutely do.
And sometimes, maybe the hardest truths are the ones we actually need to hear. Not just for characters in a story, but, well, for ourselves, too.
Well put. Ultimately, this deep dive kind of shows us that those unspoken words, the unresolved emotions in our own lives, they can silently shape our paths forward, can't they?
Yeah.
The real insight, perhaps, lies in recognizing the immense courage it takes, either to finally confront them, or maybe to find the strength to truly let them go. What do you think?